They just are so crazy. Hey guys, today I figured I'd show you how I make my wild mushroom soup. I've got some fresh oysters here from a haul we got earlier this week. And then over here I have some dried wood ear as well as some dried out oyster mushrooms. The ingredients are really simple. Besides this, it's basically seasoning and chicken stock. And I do want to give a heads up, I hardly ever measure ingredients. So I'm just going to record how I do this, and hopefully it's enough of a blueprint for you guys to follow along or kind of tweak it as you want. But these are the main ingredients that are going in. We've got some fresh parsley, onion, garlic, the dried mushrooms, the fresh mushrooms, and then chicken stock and some seasoning. I didn't mention this while filming, but you also want heavy cream, just a little bit, not a lot. I'm going to use about a half a cup in this video. Let's get into it. The first thing you're going to want to do is rehydrate your dried mushrooms. So I have a bowl of warm water here. That way they can hydrate quickly. I'm gonna cut these fresh mushrooms up while I'm waiting for these mushrooms to hydrate. I've got some dehydrated wood ear, not a lot. I got this a few months ago and have just been waiting to use it. The last few times I made mushroom soup, I only included oyster mushrooms, so I figured this would be a good opportunity to do a little medley of mushrooms. I'm gonna throw some more in there. For the oyster mushrooms, I'm just gonna start shaking them in there. Ooh. I think that is plenty. Once you have your dehydrated mushrooms in your warm water, I just make sure you push them down so they're fully submerged. These are gonna hydrate anywhere between 10 minutes and an hour. It just kind of depends. These will probably take about 30 minutes or so, but I'm gonna cut these up and then check on these at that time. You don't have to be even with the pieces. We're gonna puree half of this. You just want some variation of slices and dices. Is a pretty good rule of thumb for me anyway. And you can see I've got an array of sizes over here. So I've got little pieces, I've got mid-sized, and then a little bit larger. If you watched my dehydrating oyster mushrooms video, you'll know that the reason I'm cutting these and setting these aside is the stems and the tougher parts of the mushroom I will bag up and freeze, and then I'll use those for stock in the future. You can see some of these are really wet. It's because I washed them and then, like a dork, put them on a paper towel and put them in the fridge. But I put them on my top shelf, which is a really low temperature. So some of them froze. You can see I've got ice on a few of them. It's going in soup, so it doesn't matter. When I cut onions, I put on sunglasses and then I get on onion level so the vapors don't hit my eyeball. Ooh, it's hitting. It's hitting. It's hitting. You can use a white onion if you want. I use the yellow onion because I sacrifice pain for flavor. It's gonna be an array of shapes here. I can't see what I'm doing at this point. Oh my God. Woo, should have started with the garlic. And there it is. And the garlic is at your discretion. I have Greek blood flowing through my veins, so I'm using I don't know if that's going to be a crazy amount to some people, and I'm definitely throwing garlic powder in this too. So if that's too much garlic, fine, use as much as you want. And I'm not quite mincing it, I'm just cutting it really lazily. You don't have to do too much to the garlic because we throw it in last. We're gonna let everything else cook for quite a bit, simmer down, get real soft so that we can throw it in the blender. Fresh parsley. And the parsley I add a little bit when I add the garlic to cook down and put into the soup as a whole, and then I save a little bit to garnish at the end. So remember to save yourself a little bit. We're also using thyme, but I couldn't get any fresh thyme at the store, so I'm gonna use dried thyme, and I definitely prefer the fresh stuff, but if you don't have it, it's fine, just use dried. I was just checking on the mushrooms, and as you can see here, they're starting to get where they need to be. They're not fully hydrated yet. Look at that wood ear. Such a weird consistency. I'm gonna let those sit for maybe another 10-15 minutes, and then we should be good to go. Ooh, little piece of parsley floating around. While you're prepping all of your ingredients, like I said, the base for this is gonna be a chicken stock. You can use beef if you want. I prefer chicken, and then I add a little bit of beef. But if you have a carcass or something sitting in the freezer, go ahead and boil that. I have a carcass in my freezer that I forgot to boil, so I will be using boxed chicken stock, and then just throwing in what I have as well. And here's another cool thing I forgot I did. I usually will throw celery in this as a part of like the puree to get it thick, but I actually have some dehydrated celery in here, so I think I will just kind of powder this up and throw it in the soup as a thickening agent and to add a little bit more flavor. The dehydrated mushrooms are now ready to go, so I'm going to strain these out, try to get as much water as I can just to avoid a mess, but again, these are going in soup, so it doesn't matter if you don't get them all dried out, it's totally fine. We've got our reconstituted mushrooms here, and again, look at these wood ear, they just are so crazy. These were the oyster mushrooms that I over dehydrated. They got real crispy, but they're gonna do really well in this soup. So we're gonna cut these up just a little smaller. You probably can tell by how I've been struggling over here. Wood ear are not the easiest mushrooms in the world to cut, so I'm just doing whatever it lets me do at this point. However I can get them cut down. Now I'm going to heat a big pot on the stove on medium-high heat, and then I'm going to throw an entire stick of butter in it. You can use oil. You don't have to use as much butter if you don't want to, but I'm doing this to cook down the vegetables as well as for flavor. I find it's much better when there's butter involved. I've made it with and without. I always prefer with butter. I've got my plate of onions and the fresh oyster mushrooms, my wood ear, the dehydrated oyster mushrooms, and then we're gonna add this last. This is the fresh parsley, and the garlic is under this. You can't see it right now. Got the butter in, and the lens isn't too fogged up. Get that butter melted. I don't know how safe this is, but I've got my ring light up here so I can have adequate lighting. My kitchen is crazy small and does not have good lighting. There we go. We got the melted butter. I'm gonna go grab our veggies and we'll start sauteing them. First, we're going to throw in our fresh oysters and diced onion. We got that sizzling. Now we'll throw in our rehydrated mushrooms. I'm going to stir it up. Make sure everything is coated in butter. Cook time is going to vary depending on how much you have in here, but I'm going to probably let this cook down for 15-20 minutes on a medium heat, stirring it occasionally. And then once everything is kind of browned and soft, we're going to add some chicken stock and seasonings in here to really get it popping off. Since I'm using dried thyme instead of fresh thyme, I'm going to throw some in right now because that's going to bring out the flavor of the thyme a little bit more. We'll come back when it's cooked down a little bit and browned. We're already starting to cook down nicely. Just a few. Whoop. We are popping, literally. We are almost there. I'm about to grab some of this parsley and all of the garlic and throw it in here as well. Let that cook for just a few seconds, and then we'll throw the chicken stock in and cook that for a while. Mix that in. It smells good in my house right now. I mean, the whole house smells delicious. My tummy is rumbling. The thing with this recipe is it does take time. The prep work takes time. The foraging takes time. And the cooking takes time too, but it is so worth it. Add a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. A bit of pepper. I like a lot of pepper, and I'm going to add more pepper later. Great value. We don't do name brands in this house. It's all the same. And that is looking delicious. Oh, foggy. We are ready to add in our chicken broth, our chicken stock. Again, great value chicken broth. And I'm getting another container of this. That is not near enough. That is a big pot. Okie. That is about what we need. Also a big fat cheater. So instead of actual beef stock, like I said I was going to add, we're using Better Than Bouillon roasted beef base. This stuff slaps. It's a really yummy way to cut corners, and nobody will know except you guys now. We're going to bring this to a slight boil, and then we're going to drop it down to a simmer and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. Once it's done simmering, we're going to process half of it. You can use a food processor. I'm going to use a blender instead, just because it's a little easier, and scoop up half the veggies, half the broth, blend it up, and that's going to thicken our soup for us. Oh my goodness, that is, oh my goodness, that is delicious. I cannot wait until this is done. My partner Leonard, this is one of his favorite meals that I make, is this wild mushroom bisque, and usually we're just making it with oyster mushrooms. This is the first time I've added the wood ear to the mushroom bisque, but already the broth is super flavorful. The wood ear is going to pretty much soak up the flavor of anything it's with. Gosh, that is, you could eat this like this and it'd be delicious, but the bisque is our favorite way. We have a nice boil going here. I'm going to drop that heat down to medium low. Here we are. We are ready to throw half of this into a blender. Look at how pretty it is. Ooh. Got that blended up real nice. Look at that. And that is thick. I don't know if you can see that, but that is really going to thicken up our soup. And we'll go add this back into the pot. Our bisque is looking pretty biscuity. I'm going to let this cook a little bit longer and get just a little bit darker. We're really cooking now. We've got a nice, ooh, there goes the steam again. We've got a nice brown color going here. You want your soup to get about this color before you add in your heavy cream. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a completely white soup, which is not what you want. You're gonna drop your heat down to low, and then you don't need a lot of heavy cream because the mushrooms make it really creamy once you blend them up. I'm gonna start with just a half a cup. You really should be mixing this as you're blending it in, but I'm obviously just using one hand. This color right here is beautiful. It's a little darker than what the camera's picking up. A little bit of fresh parsley on top. Oh my goodness. That flavor is delicious. Those oyster mushrooms were perfect. It's beautiful. Oh, it's hot. I'm eating it too fast. I probably could have made this a little thicker if I would have added more of the dehydrated mushrooms, but I'm not mad at it. I have made it thicker in the past. I've made it thinner in the past. But I really hope you guys enjoy this. I'm gonna try to drop as close to a measured recipe as I can in the description, so be sure to check that out. Like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you'd like to see more from us in the future.